So, more on the Rick has this in his head front. More and more I read, the more and more I watch and pay attention. I don't think even the actors of The Walking Dead are aware of this plot. I don't know if it is even a plot, it's just a fan theory. But the character of Negan. Now, I've done a little bit of background on Negan. I've read the comics when it comes to Negan. Um, they couldn't be more true to the essence of what Negan is. However, if you've read the comic books, you'll probably know what I'm getting at. If you haven't read the comic books, then you probably hate Negan. Negan's the worst thing in the world, but Negan and Rick couldn't be more alike. And Rick obviously went about it a different way. Rick will come around occasionally and try to justify his existence and do some nice things for people. However, I think Rick's worse, and I think that Negan is Rick's doppelganger, and that's obvious. It'd be his foil doppelganger, because they both come from a very similar situation. Negan came from a situation where he was a high school teacher. Surprisingly, yes, he was that high school teacher. Vastly wanted approval of everybody. Kind of bullied. I'm going to go ahead and just assume that he was bullied in school. He was that teacher that would have the kids over to his house after class and play ping pong with them. Well, one time when Negan had embarrassed his student, his wife called him out on it and then immediately passed out shortly after. She was rushed to the hospital. This is right before the apocalypse occurred. And it was discovered she had cancer. Negan, in the meantime, was cheating on her, and decided to end it with his mistress because it took the cancer for him to realize what he wanted. Now, they reconciled shortly before her death, and as she's in the hospital fading, a man comes into the room and tells Negan that his wife's too sick to save, they need to go. Negan stayed with his wife. As she died, he looked out the window and saw the carnage, the burning cars, the walkers, the hospital getting overrun, and he still stayed with his wife. So you got Rick, both of them born into the apocalypse out of a hospital. Kind of a coincidence, if you ask me. I don't think Negan's worse. I really don't. I think that Negan has definitely chose the wrong way to do things, and you'll see that later as things go on. That Negan actually has a moral high ground. With Rick, however, willing to do anything that's necessary. And I'm not saying Negan's a good guy, but anything that's necessary for his people to survive. Now, Rick and Negan both lost their wives in a very tragic way. Negan definitely cracked and definitely became a very different person. Negan is very upfront about who he is, very forward about the fact that give me your shit or I'll fucking kill you. And obviously this isn't a video children should be watching, so let's go ahead and not blame me for my mouth and blame the parents that are allowing their children to watch this. But anyway, that's another story for another day. I really do like the development of the character Negan, especially having knowledge from the comic books of where Negan came from. Negan does not, in the comic books at least, condone rape of any type. He does tend to keep many women. And I'll go into Dwight later and my theories on Dwight and why Dwight is the way he is. But even from the show, you should be able to infer that Dwight isn't this horrible bad guy. There's more going on in the situation. Read the comic books. The show tends to go on a tangent, move off a little bit. But I think that you will definitely see Daryl and Dwight coalescing unless Daryl's head's smashed on the ground. Which Sunday's coming. Sunday the 23rd. It's coming fast, and I'm looking forward to it. I have to work at 5 in the morning after, but I'm going to stay up and I'm going to watch it. Anyway, Negan being Rick's doppelganger and Negan being in Rick's head, you could affirm that it's the other path Rick could have taken, and very easily could have taken. Much like the connections to Rick and Shane with Rick's greatest fear. It's been a while since Rick's really dealt with a lot of adversity. I mean, the wolves were a minor annoyance, if you ask me. And Rick's arrogance is definitely coming into play with this situation. And the whole thing of it is his arrogance has definitely hurt him. So if you think of this as a mind construct of his own, Rick is going to need some sort of conflict. We all need conflict. Humans need conflict to survive. So I think you're going to see a lot of similarities between Rick. I think it's a giant pissing match, if you ask me, and that's what it is. And if it is indeed a construct of Rick's mind, it really delves more into what Rick is afraid of. Maybe in the end we'll see that I'm wrong, or maybe Rick will wake up in that hospital with his wife there, and that'll piss a lot of people off, including myself. It's kind of like the Twilight ending of things. Oh, this didn't happen, or the Sopranos ending to things. Oh, we're not even going to show you what happened. So then you've got endings of like long-standing shows. Breaking Bad. I thought it was an all right ending. I didn't particularly like it. AMC has definitely had the we're going to shove this up your butt type attitude when it comes to the ending of shows. There's been some developments in the comic with the most latest issue as regards to Negan. Negan isn't a manipulator as much as people think. Is more of he's a give me what I want and we'll be cool. Do what I say and we'll be cool. So you're seeing what looks like it may be a redemption to Negan, but I kind of don't want to see Negan become Rick's bitch. So that's as far as the comic books go. And I'm not going to go into it if you haven't read them. There's ways to read them online. If you look up Read The Walking Dead online for free, you'll find a link. I think it's about the third one down the page in the Google search, where you can actually read these comic books online for free. Nobody's throwing a fuss at it, so go ahead and read the comic books and see the differences. And it's really cool. Don't go watching a YouTube video about the differences between the comic and the show, because it's a lot of personal opinions, just like mine are personal opinions. I get that. But needless to say, if you look at the show and you look at the way it went down with Rick attacking the Saviors, Rick created this monster Negan. Negan wasn't even seen for an entire season. He was mentioned time and time again. So if Rick is still indeed in that coma in that hospital, Rick created the monster. Rick released the monster. Anyway, tell me what you think. Comment below. Subscribe. Whatever you want to do. I'd like to see more views on my thing here and see what you guys think of it. And if it's unoriginal and somebody else has already thought of it, we live in a world of billions of people, so let me know if somebody else thought of it first. Anyway, have a good day.